Welcome to Beachside Tech Talk. My name's Ian Utilli. We're starting here at the studio in about 2 minutes. I thought it might be nice to say hi to all the friends that are joining us online. We're live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, and this time, let's see, we added Instagram, so also LinkedIn. So hey, hello everybody. Let me introduce the folks that are here. I got my youngest son right there above my thumb. There's Nathan. We got Kenton in the back there. Kenton caught 18 fish yesterday. That's pretty cool. We got Riza right here who was on yesterday. She's doing stuff on the computer, and there's Malachi.
Hello.
And we got Ted coming in from the Silicon Valley. We
Ted's
got
here. Hello.
East Coast. We got my brother Dan, and then we got two new friends with us. We got Ben and Isaiah, who go to school with Malachi. So, yeah, say hi to the internet.
What's up, guys? This is your camera if you want to look at it. And your microphone is going to be this one. Bring it.
Yeah, you guys can just share it. I'll need to get my mic over to me as well. So we got 5 on radio in the studio, plus 3 more family members and 2 online. That's 10 people, and our producer, Kristen. That makes 11. We are rock and rolling Beachside Tech Talks with 11 humans right now. It's a serious business, everybody. So this radio station reaches something like 1 million homes. It's one of the largest broadcast reaches. So we never know who's listening, but usually they're not very techie. So we try to keep things pretty chill.
Yeah.
And then we got my network online who tunes in, and so decided to go live a little bit early today. We are getting ready to go live. This is our moment, everybody. This is the real deal. Turn me on. Welcome to Beachside Tech Talk. My name is Ian Utilli, and I am here with a large group of people. I got, I think, in total 9 people here inside of KOMY 1340 AM, home of Schoolhouse Radio. I got 2 people that are tuned in, calling into the station. So let's start with the folks that are not physically with us. Ted, how was Portugal, my friend? It's good to have you back.
Portugal is amazing. If you're a tourist, I encourage you not to visit because it's super amazing. No, it's wonderful. Man, the food there is incredible. And I survived with probably only gaining a few pounds. So, yeah.
Are we still in Portugal?
It's a great time. The weather's amazing. Love the people.
The people love you, Ted. The people love you. Nigel, tell us the good news from the East Coast. Actually, tell us the good news from the future, bro. You're 3 hours ahead of us. You know what we're about to experience in the world.
We are going to learn today. We have the youngest in charge in the building, and I am open to gaining some insight into what they think, what we got right, what we got wrong, and where we can go from here. So looking forward to it.
We're going to have you get it closer up to that mic. Like, you got to treat that mic like a lovely,
okay.
lovely
How is that?
We want you to get all up on that microphone.
We're doing that again. We're doing that again.
We are doing that again. Well, I'm restraining myself.
Okay.
Last time I got talking music analogies. Brother Dan.
Yo, good morning.
Yo to you and good morning. Every morning's a good morning when you're with me. So happy Friday to you.
I can't believe the sun's come out so much in the last 2 weeks. It's just changed my attitude on how happy I am during the day.
You know that the sun rises at 5:47 and sets at 8:30 right now. It's the longest sunny day of the year. It's usually starts getting sunny about an hour before and stays sunny a half hour after. So we're looking at 16 hours of sunlight right now.
Yeah, just hit our summer solstice.
Yeah, today's the day.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yep, this is the longest day of the year, so remember that you only get one of these days in this year.
I'm enjoying it. We've been paddleboarding up and down the Soquel Creek. I went up and down the Soquel Creek twice. I don't know how far I went, but at least a half mile up there. Yeah, Ted, we are just talking about that. You microphones. Malachi, why don't you say hello to everyone that's joining us here at 1340 AM KOMY Beachside Tech Talk and those online, and why don't you introduce to your friends, Ben and Isaiah, then we'll let them jump in and say hi to everyone that's tuned in. And for those that are listening, thank you for your attention.
Yeah. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for giving us your very valuable attention. I'm Malachi. I'm a 16-year-old, or I guess there's 3 here today. I'm Ian's son, and today I've got the privilege to bring 2 of my close friends from my school to the radio station to have a little chat with us. So, Ben, right here.
Welcome, buddy.
All right, Ben.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm also 16. Go to school with Malachi at Monte Vista, and it's just it's a privilege to be here. So honored to be invited, and just can't wait for today.
So our producer, Kristen, her youngest just graduated from Monte Vista. Why don't you tell folks, because this is Home of Schoolhouse Radio, so this is a nonprofit radio station.
Yeah.
So a big part of what they want to do is find schools like Monte Vista, invite students to come participate here at the radio, and find ways to bring the radio to the school. So why don't you tell folks that are listening a little bit about Monte Vista? I actually went there about 100 years ago, back 7th through 10th grade. So that was a long time ago. But yeah, why don't you share a little bit about your school before Isaiah jumps in?
Yeah, of course. So Monte Vista, I mean, it's an amazing school. It's great, trying to get in college. They really prepare you. Amazing teachers, amazing staff. You're surrounded by a beautiful community. All believes in God, and it's just get lifted up, never get brought down. It's amazing. Good sports.
You're on the football team.
Yeah, correct. I am.
And so, did you play football before freshman year, like Pop Warner or something like that?
Yeah,
flag football, maybe?
No tackle, just flag.
Okay.
That was really it.
And so, what is having your community of athletes like for you? Because football at Monte Vista, even when I was there 25 years ago, has always been like a really important part of the ecosystem. Mm-hmm. And part of that is just having the community. So tell me a bit about the impact of that for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would say probably for my freshman year too, like just going into high school first year, I knew maybe 8 people, and those were who were transferring from my old school. But as soon as it came to summer football training, I knew 50 other guys who just brought me in close like brothers, and it was just a huge change. Because when I went into that, freshman year of school, I just had so many more people that I could connect with and get closer with. And
you found a great community through that. And Isaiah is also on the football team too.
Yeah. So Isaiah, why don't you introduce yourself? I also see you're wearing the 2025 wrestling champion Pacific Coast Athletic League. So it looks like maybe you're a multi-sport dude. So you can come close to this microphone so the folks on the radio can hear you, and introduce yourself. Take your time. Let us know who you are.
All right. Hey, I'm Isaiah. I'm a sophomore at Monte Vista Christian, 16 also. I play 3 sports. I do football, started freshman year. I did some flag before that in 8th grade. And I do wrestling during the winter season, and I do track during spring. I love Monte Vista. It's awesome. I remember when I was going into high school, like before that, I would always like ask random high schoolers, and I'd say, dude, what's it like being in high school? That's awesome. That must be so cool. And then it would be like, it's the same, man. There's not really a big difference. And then I got into high school, and I'm like, no, those guys were all lying. High school is
It's way different.
I've got so much more freedom. I can drive. This is epic. Yeah.
You live in Gilroy?
Yeah, Gilroy.
Okay.
I love Gilroy.
Yeah, Gilroy's nice. I mean, if I had to live inland somewhere, Gilroy, Morgan Hill, that's a great area to live, no doubt. Is that where your family's from?
Well, most of my family's from the Central Valley.
Okay.
But we moved to Connecticut when I was like 2.
Yeah.
And then we moved back, and that was awesome. When we moved to Gilroy, I love Gilroy so much. It's like, in my opinion, the best town in the world. I'm sorry, anybody living in Santa Cruz. It is so cool. The sunrises are beautiful, and then the sunset's gorgeous. There's hills everywhere, and the grass is always tall. And during March and like that season, it's all green.
Yeah.
And right now, it's like this beautiful gilded color, and when the wind flows through, it moves like waves in the ocean. That's my ocean.
Oh, those are so cool.
Yeah.
I love seeing that.
So cool. And then I hike all around the hills with my friends, and it's a blast. I love everything about it.
So Monte Vista was one of the first schools in the nation to get away from textbooks and go to iPads. This happened like over 10 years ago. Do you guys see technology and automation also integrating its way into sports? You know, Isaiah, with you being in 3 different sports, have you seen technology in terms of how coaches are dealing with things, how they're doing statistics, how they're helping you with training? Is it still just a manual, primal, beastly effort, or is there a tech automation element that you're seeing roll out in your athletic abilities?
Well, yeah. There's some tech stuff going in. Like for wrestling, we like, you know, they have a lot of tech things in there. Like they have the point systems are usually like on screens and stuff. And so and like when I went to Mid-Cals, that was a tournament in Gilroy at Gilroy High. And it's this big tournament. Like people come from all over. Like there were some guys who like were from Montana, and like I think there were some other guys from other places, but I forgot. And they had these like big old like things on tripods that said what bout, it's like what number match it was, and it was like all over the place. And I don't know how they did it earlier, but this was way easier than what I guessed, like with paper or something like that. Mm-hmm. Or like a guy shouting, "Hey, this match is happening right now. You better be here or else you're gonna lose."
Right. Right.
And so yeah, that's cool. And then there's some other stuff with football, but I'm sure Ben's got that with like, so for our playbook, we don't have like an actual physical book. We have this thing called Huddle.
Yeah.
But I'll let Ben describe
it. Is that like an app, Ben? So yeah, jump up on the microphone.
Yeah. So Huddle is kind of like it's almost like a text message. It's just like you open the app and you can see what you need to see. And then we got also on Huddle you can view the film from your previous game or like your next opponent. So Huddle is just like it's a pretty good app because you just got everything you need for your sport right now. But we can also see just like, even if we look at the professional levels, like NFL, like after an offensive drive in football, the like quarterback coach will sit down with the quarterback and have their little iPad and then like rolling through film as he just played and showing the statistics of like, you know, what's working, what's not, and then they just look through and be like, oh, let's change this, let's keep this. So I could definitely see this integrating more into sports and just like truly helping it more.
I was working with Trent Dilfer on some pretty wild apps back about 10 years ago, and he was telling me when we were business partners in a couple of different efforts, you know, probably 10 years or so from now. And he said, you know, it was that they would find quarterbacks and star players like early high school, then it was like freshmen. Yeah. Then it got to like 7th and 8th grade. Like they're finding their star quarterbacks for the NFL 10 years in advance. And a lot of that had to do with automation tools. Ted and Nigel and Dan, if any of the 3 of you guys want to jump in, we're not taking 3 commercial breaks as we normally do. We're going to have 1 commercial break in the middle and then stack that toward the end.
I'm super interested
again now for another 12 minutes. So Ted, I see your mouth moving. I don't hear you. So you got to get a handle on your mute and unmute stuff. But Dan and Nigel, why don't you guys jump in and let's chit chat with these 3 young guys and see if we can learn something from them.
Yeah.
Well, I have a specific question. It's multi-tiered. Can you hear me?
I just wanted
You can keep going.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention maybe like seen some construction tools come into play in the last few years, and I'm thinking like you guys for your athletics, they're starting to bring iPads onto the field and stuff because, you know, it's just another form of opening up. It's going from analog to digital. Maybe your playbooks and able to actually set like a schedule that your coaches are maybe going off of weekly, keeping up with injuries that are just like everything that when you're doing practice is able to sort of get documented. So they good documentation, like look back on maybe injury or have maybe protection or something like that. Keep up track on that. You get a little insight on what your coaches and stuff are using on the field, like in real time.
Sometimes they've got like these like headphones in, but I think that's been around for a while. But something that's been different that is like newer, I guess, is that with the internet and like YouTube and stuff, there's so much that you can learn just by looking things up. Like I remember when I first started wrestling, I was looking for like new moves to learn and stuff. And when I was asking around, and like even the coaches were saying, "Hey, look at like this YouTube channel, this YouTube channel," and I learned like at least a third of my moves from YouTube. And it's like I've been able to perfect them by using my little brother as a little dummy.
Like the footage that there's, you know, like even the practices, are they filming? Are they able to film or take video of even your practices to, you know, next day go in and maybe have a brief or debrief of what you guys did right, did wrong, that kind of thing?
Yeah, in track and field, I did pole vaulting, and it's a really technical part of the sport. Right? It's like the most technical thing. And I had we finally got a pole vaulting coach, and he would take videos of some of our pole vaulting, and he'd correct us on exactly what we need to fix right after during practice. It's illegal to do that in an actual match or whatever it's called, an actual match.
Right.
But during practice, it's super fast to know exactly what you did wrong, and you can look over and over again at it, and it's fun.
Nice.
And it's super cool.
Hey, Nigel, I want to see if you have a couple of any questions for these young gentlemen in the athletics field in the Mondays Christian school.
Well, what I want to know is more, more technologically general. Like, I think there's a big factor in how the folks who are in charge are using technology and how the youth are experiencing the technology. So what do you think is working well specifically? And that's individual to each of you. And what do you think can be done way better that maybe the folks in charge don't see, and you might not really get the opportunity to say? Even if it's I don't know how much you want to share, but even if it's a hot take, I think it's important for folks who are not in the present, younger generation, not in high school now, to hear unfiltered, not rude, but unfiltered, just pure raw information on what can be done better. So go.
Yeah. So I think that just like what is working better, I think my favorite thing is probably the huddle part of it. Like I mentioned earlier, it's just like that film and playbook. But I love the film aspect of it because you can view it anywhere if you don't have signal and whatnot. But the greatest thing is you can slow it down as slow as you want. You can draw on it. It'll give you like the play, like how many yards you gained and all that information on there. And I think it's good because you can just go back and look and have a film, but instead you can draw or just view in different speeds and just realize like what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, how you can do better. And I think it's just really amazing instead of having to pull out like an old VHS tape, plugging that in and just trying to view it from there. So I'd probably say huddle is definitely working, especially from Monte Vista. It's definitely helped us. And I'm a lineman, and so in the lineman film room, it's just so fun to watch other linemen and ourselves just doing good and having fun out there. So I'd say huddle would be a great one. That works good.
Nice.
Ted, you were a pro athlete. You played pro ball, basketball for 10 years. You've been in and out of prison for the last 2 decades, being part of the San Quentin basketball league.
Teddy likes to stay in and out of prison all the time. I realize that.
So, Ted, what are your questions around sports and athletics with technology and automation and how it's impacting young people?
So yeah, as you said about the technology thing, like YouTube and all that stuff, like as generations go on, unless there's like something like really bad that happens, like it just gets easier and better for us to learn and grow faster as younger people. And so that's really cool. I feel blessed to be a part of this generation and be able to do all these things. And like, yeah, like for wrestling, we have in the beginning of the season, we have this thing where they like put like some sort of gel on you, and then they have this like machine. I don't know what it's called, but it's like a I don't know. But basically, they put it on you, and it measures your body fat percentage. And I was like, whoa. So it's like we get to know how much body fat we have at that time, and then if we like measure at the end of the season, we can see how much stuff is done. Yeah, I think I ran into something
Dan's
similar.
face says a different story.
I think he's maybe just in his mind. I am not.
I think I ran into something similar. There was a guy who was like very wide, and he had a body fat percentage of 25%. And then everybody was like laughing. He was laughing too. And then I go up. I'm like one of the last ones because I was like in the back of the line. I showed up late or something. And then it says that I got 26% body fat. I was like, whoa, I don't think that's right.
That's definitely not right for what I'm saying.
And then everybody was like, "Oh, you got more than 0.25% if you was just fat." And it was pretty funny, and I like spreading the word, but I hope I got smaller. Yeah.
That's pretty cool that exists, though.
How about for you, Malachi? How is technology and automation, AI stuff, YouTube played into you as a competitive rock climber? I know you watch YouTube videos all the time. You compete as a boulderer, and you probably spend 10, 20 hours a week, depending on what's happening in your life, in the gym climbing. So how have you seen automation play into it, and how do you envision technology, AI, and these types of things playing into your preferred sport?
Yeah, when I started climbing, I loved it because it was like a puzzle for my mind about my body, and that was like it immediately captivated me. And one of the main things I liked about it was creating the climbs because it's honestly like its own art form. I realized because it's more abstract though. It's not like you're writing on canvas. It's that you're writing on the holds on the wall using like body movement as your art. And that just really, really interests me. And I think that because that takes a lot of creativity and it can be very difficult to just sustain that day after day after day. And I think probably the most influential automation related thing that's going to happen in climbing is that AI is just going to slowly get better and better at making its own climbs. It's going to be able to predict how flow is going to work and how you can make it so this movement is going to seamlessly happen. And I think that's probably the most soon to happen thing. But also like with making the walls, because usually people will not just make it like you have 0 degrees here and 15 degrees here. Like usually it's a little more intricate. Usually you have kind of like it's a smooth boulder all around. And I think that AI is going to start predicting what people start to like more, and it's going to make things that end up being really interesting. But also with like the climbing holds themselves, because that itself also takes a lot of creativity. When you really get down into it, almost everything that we do takes some sort of creativity. And I think with the climbing holds, AI is going to start getting better and better, creating its own types of new ones that look and feel really good. And I think that overall, it helps a lot with training too. Like in every sport and everything that you do with your body, like Ted was saying earlier, he didn't really know, but he had just ruined himself by trying to train too hard. And like yesterday, I went climbing and I realized that I was just not up for it. My body was not into it, but I kind of still just kept going because I felt like it. And that's probably going to hit me for a few days because I decided to just let myself keep climbing. And things like that, I think overall, AI and things like that are going to really help to tell you what your body needs to do in the present moment and how to make sure you can be the best.
Well, young men, thank you for coming in and sharing your insights with us. I think as we transition to our break here at 1340 AM KOMY, we'll transition to a different segment in just a moment. Okay, excellent. Ted and Nigel, if you guys talk right now, I can't hear you because I have my computer on mute. Yeah.
You can't hear me right now?
You sound quiet, Nigel. You might want to call back in.
I don't know what about.
Yeah. No, he has it all the way maxed out. Nigel, you might want to call back in.
That would be blasting if Nigel had normal volume on his.
The other page, he sounded so much like louder and more clear. Like
So,
maybe it's on his.
Nigel, do you want to try to call back in and just see if it's a bad connection?
I've been getting kicked off actually.
Oh, interesting.
Because when you said to dial back in after the break, I realized that I was disconnected, and then I did it again. But I made sure to connect, and then it kicked me off again.
Interesting.
I'm connected now. Can you hear me?
Can you check and see if we can hear him?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're gonna transition. He's 2.
I'm 1 too. Can you hear me?
Hold on.
Say something again.
Okay, go ahead.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
Yeah, we hear you. That should be good enough. Okay, 3 young guys. Malachi, focus. Good. We're going to transition the last 20 minutes and have the 3 of you ask the 4 of us any question you want about technology and automation. So, Ted and Nigel, when any of these 3 guys ask a question, Ted, you're on mute. You're on mute on your computer, Ted. You muted yourself. So when these guys ask a question,
Question at all.
say it again.
I said any question at all. It doesn't have to be limited to technology. Any question.
No, let's get to technology.
A really hard one.
You know,
Ask me
Ted,
a really hard question.
The answer is no. So you guys can ask any question you want about technology, AI, blockchain, automation, and then Ted and Nigel, if you want to take it, just raise a finger, and otherwise, Danny may jump in, and I'll jump in if it makes sense. I'm gonna have the 3 of them ask us questions about technology, AI, automation, and we'll just kind of turn the table. And
we're going out at like 56.
not 54? 50,
Have we only done one?
55?
I'll stick in a couple more commercials. I totally blanked on what we had talked about. 54 is fine.
54 is fine with me. Okay, cool. Okay, we're going to go live again in like 2 minutes. So
is
again,
this the format going forward, or
No.
are we just for
Just-
today?
just for
Oh,
today.
we're doing
Yeah.
formats now. I see. Okay. So
Yeah. I pushed our first and third commercial break to the very end because we have so many people in here. Okay. So think about questions around technology, automation, AI, blockchain, decentralized finance, the future of things.
Those are some big words right there.
Anything that's on your mind, anything you guys have seen in movies, like, do we believe that the future is going to be more like Jetsons or Star Trek and good, or more like Blade Runner and Terminator and bad? Whatever you guys want to ask about.
You guys watch Netflix and stuff like that?
Oh yeah.
You know how it plays to whatever you're doing? It's suggestions for you.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
That's AI, and that's the new Web3 that it's coaching you as you instead of just looking for something.
Point
you
the
know, like
microphone, please.
suggestions
Point the
for
microphone.
you. Here's what you'll more like. They got all kinds of stuff, not just suggestions. It's like, here's what you watched last time. Continue watching. You know, it's just, so it's interacting with you, saying, "Come on, and grab a glass of orange juice, and then sit down, and kick your feet up. Let's watch 2 movies instead of 1."
And Malachi will hold that microphone for the three of you guys. So you don't have to worry about it. He'll just point it. It's good enough.
For you guys there.
They'll throw it.
Big buff shoulders. Yeah.
No, earlier I had to.
Okay, so son, when we start this, you can ask.
How do you
Actually, when we start this, why don't you? Yeah. So when we start this, why don't you jump in and say, "Hey, we should ask you guys some questions," because the radio listeners are not listening to us talk right now, and then kick it over to Isaiah. Okay.
Perfect.
Go sit down, son. Oh yeah. Dan Corey's gonna come by soon.
What color is this car?
Just look for just a beat down truck.
Okay.
Although maybe his new truck is not. Okay, here we go. Turn me on, son. Welcome to Beachside Tech Talk here at 1340 AM, KOMY, home of Schoolhouse Radio here in the Monterey Bay, Santa Cruz County. My name's Ian Utility. I'm here with 11 people. This is serious.
Party.
It's a serious party here at the radio station. Malachi, why don't you welcome our audience as we start our second half of our show?
Welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in. So, Dad, I think the three of us young people should ask you guys some questions. I think that's what we should do since we don't have an opportunity like this very often. So,
Excellent.
Isaiah, you should start.
All right. So, as older gentleman with you saw before, like the internet was like a crazy thing, and now you're seeing as it's going in, you can learn all these things through the internet much easier than you were when you were our age,
Right.
and than you could when you were our age. But you're also older. I thought you're like
44.
You're 44. Okay, and then you other dudes, I don't know how old you are, but
I'm 54.
54. Okay. All right. So it's you can still learn a lot of these things that are on the internet. Like I learned like parkour stuff like completely through the internet. I'm just wondering if there's any new skills that you had no idea were like even a thing until you saw them like on YouTube or something, and then you were able to learn it completely on your own using the internet, and just how that felt as you knew that wasn't possible for you before, and now you can just do that, and how you feel about it.
It's a cool question. How about for you, Ted? You played basketball your whole life. How has YouTube or things with automation technology impacted your ability to get better at basketball?
Yeah, so I'm on a quest, which is interesting. In my 50s, I'm trying to get back in the best shape I've ever been in, and it's pretty fun because, to play inside prison. So yeah, I've been tapping into YouTube to watch, like what I used to do and the moves and all that. Learning like technology, like particularly the way technology, which is not necessarily like digital technology, but the science of training has helped me tons. I get to train with these Olympic trainers, the Bennett Fit, Jaw Bennett, Jay. They're both Olympic track athletes. And just the science of how they train you is just incredible. But that's all, it's in their mind. I mean, they've learned it, and it's, we're not using gadgets or stuff. We're using mostly body weight. but it's the science of how your body recovers. That's super interesting. A similar thing when I dislocated my ankle. Well, I've dislocated my ankle twice. Once when I was 40,
I'm
and
sorry.
the other time when I was 51. And
Wrestling.
particularly when I was 40, there was this gap of 20 years since when I was in my 20s and playing in college and then professionally, and how that was my just come to Jesus revelation of how much science had learned. And if I had known this stuff of how your hips are connected with your knees, and we've learned so much about mobility and all that, that's all just super fascinating. And now you can just research it. I mean, now you can talk to, AI and just describe your problem, and you've got a incredible expert that in some ways might be smarter than, the average doctor, because they know what all doctors know. I mean, some ways it's also can be really dumb. It's like, how do you ask the right question? So that's definitely been informing me. Do you guys follow on YouTube the knees over toes guy?
No.
He's like
Never.
there you go. He's been able to popularize the science that he learned and then developed from, and that's helped me tremendous in my rehabilitation for my ankle and everything else.
I have been playing disc golf now for 30 years, and I got to a certain level, like a good player after the first year, and I stayed good for basically 20 years. And I just couldn't figure out how people were better than me. Like, I couldn't figure out how they threw further than me or how they were better. Like, it was kind of, it doesn't matter how much I play, I just stay the same. Yeah, I hit a plateau and never changed. And then disc golf blew up on YouTube. And it wasn't just that I saw guys play and I could rewind and watch what they were doing, but it was that they had the follow flight. So they'd have the follow flight disc, and then this UDisc app came out that kind of helped you track your game. And so I knocked a score off my average. So instead of being an average par disc golfer, which is good, I became average, a scratch golfer. So my average is now, my average used to be bogey. Now it's par. So I went from being like a good disc golfer that could go and play with people to like being, I could actually compete if I wanted to. So that'd be another example of like automation, right? You see videos, all of a sudden you have exposure to new things. You have an app that tracks you and tracks things. You watch follow flight. All of a sudden you can like learn how to, be better in that specific sport. Nigel and Dan, anything that comes to mind that as an older dude, you've had the ability to learn a new skill or hone an existing skill, and maybe something, as Isaiah asked, that was kind of surprising to you?
I'm going to jump in here with this one, and I'm going to take a little bit of a different take.
Yeah, go for it, Nigel.
If that's okay. The first thing I'm going to say is I'm going to challenge, the younger folks to go way further than you're going now. I think there's this discrepancy between, well, you're native to it and it's easy. It shouldn't be easy. Think about this. If people walked before there were cars and you have a car, why should you be satisfied with the same distance that you're walking? So yeah, you can see things that are amazing. And I've learned tons of stuff. I've learned to fix things that I didn't think was possible. I learned to do things that people would charge an arm and a leg for because you didn't know any better. The bottom line is when you know better, you do better. So when you look at your own stats, when you're doing sports or anything for that matter, the one question that I would urge you to consider asking yourself every time it comes up is this: how did I come to that conclusion? Ask yourself that, because you can search ChatGPT. Okay, great. You got one answer. But what if you search 5 other AIs? Are you getting the same answer? How'd they arrive at that answer? Who's the authoritative source that makes that answer valuable? Are you just looking at it because, wow, that looks cool. Wow, great, amazing, which has no practical value. So this looks cool. So what? You look at someone who's well-polished, well-dressed and everything else, and they're selling real estate, right? Think about this. The biggest investment of your life, by and large, for most people. What does their looks have to do with the financial transaction, whether the roof is good, the foundation is good? I'll tell you, nothing. How did you come to that conclusion? Looks, feelings have nothing to do with the actual reality of what you're seeing in front of you. There are things that you would believe to be true just because people are saying it. And I'll give you one last thing to put it in perspective. If you see something, you think, oh, I've seen it. No one can tell me anything different. Riddle me this, and I got this from a book. This is not mine. We blink. By virtue of that alone, we can't see everything. So sit on that for a minute and remember, how did I come to that conclusion? And whatever you're looking at, look further, look deeper, because the generation before you, they didn't have the ability to do what you did. And I'll leave it there.
So yeah, I think you're right. Like we do have to pair like things that we research on the internet and things with like actual experience. And that's what helps with like having people like mentors and people who have experienced these things and are wiser. Like when you said for like real estate and stuff, I have a friend whose dad, he's not like selling big things, but he's like selling and renting properties that he owns. And he's giving me like basic information on how to start my own stuff like that, how to get into it, how to start investing, things like that. And I'm still like just getting to learn it, but I'm using both research that I do on the internet and research through someone who has actual experience in that field. And that helps a lot with things because that's things that both I see and things that I am hearing from people who are experienced in that field. And so I just think that's pretty cool.
The overall big topic that I think we're talking about right now is that internet in general has brought such an easy access to learning.
Yeah.
I think like if I didn't have the internet, I probably wouldn't know what snow or what skiing really looked like. I had gone there myself. I probably would have heard of it and been like, what? Like, what do you mean? The water, you fall through it. What are you talking about, dude? Like, the
All right, what happened? You guys all froze. Producers, what's the deal?
The camera, Malachi has gone into cryostasis.
So I have maybe I'll talk now because somebody asked a question online. Emerson Scalar asked, how does a layperson start benefiting from AI that way? And what recommendations do you have for getting started? Are you back on, Ian?
We're back.
Can we hear you now? We're back. Okay, so you want to answer Emerson's? You want me to answer Emerson's question, or you want to go back to the previous theme before we had our technical difficulty?
I think you missed your chance. He's already on to Nigel, bro. You lost your chance to answer Emerson.
Well, Emerson, my short answer is I'm a layperson, so everything you heard applies to lay people right now. I used to be a pro athlete. I'm not anymore. I try to put myself in the mindset that I still am, but I'm 54. I'm really a layperson, to be honest. So staying healthy is awesome, and you use use this technology to stay healthy. There you go.
Emerson is actually one of my favorite friends in the AI world. He and I did half a dozen or more AI events together over the last 5 or so years. And Emerson, you should jump in to Beachside Tech Talk in the near future. It'd be fun to share a conversation with you.
It would.
Now we just lost Nigel. I teed him up.
Analogy. Someone doing it out. He had briefly mentioned future part 2. Just iron. So again, just go over what you were talking about.
Yeah, definitely. So I was just trying to think, like, you just had this little thought pop in my head, like, in Back to the Future 2, which released, in '89. So it was a bit ago. You guys were all kids and everything, and just having fun. But it took place like they were trying to predict what 2015 would look like, and they had the flying cars and just every things that they thought would be in the future. But obviously, as we see in 2025, 10 years after 2015, it's not necessarily flying cars and hoverboards and all those things.
Not yet. Hey,
not yet.
one wheel is a hoverboard.
You know it.
Basically, my kind of question with it is like, if 10 years later we still don't have this stuff, like how fast or
Over there on the East Coast. Hopefully, we won't lose power in 3 hours because he is basically living in the future.
Yeah, where are
Um,
you?
Is that how it works? The 80s take 3 hours.
Wouldn't that be weird?
Unless it's traveling at the speed of light, because then it might get here soon.
So Back to the Future 2 had a big impact on my life in every way. It was beyond captivating. Actually, we launched hoverboard.com. We bought the trademark to hoverboard. It was Robert Bigler, a friend and a business partner and a for the GeoBlade, which was basically much like the One Wheel, just a lot faster, a lot more powerful, a lot more advanced. It had 4 speakers and lights all around it. The first prototype of the GeoBlade is far superior to the 10th version of the One Wheel. Nevertheless, it was quite unsafe. The wheel was too small. But we launched that project on Kickstarter with the team at Kickstarter. I flew out to Brooklyn, spent time with everybody there at Kickstarter. They said it was the most exciting campaign they'd ever seen. It was the funnest website I'd ever built. We launched it very successfully, raised a lot of money, sold a bunch of these boards, and we launched it on the same date as Back to the Future 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember this kind of like moment 10 years ago, because it was like October 2015. And I remember thinking like, oh, what a cool like part of the story to be a part of. We're launching the hoverboard, right? We own hoverboard.com. We own the hoverboard trademark. I think ultimately people care less about people care less about cars that can fly, and they care less about skateboards that float. What they care most about is not just the cool idea fantasy, but what the people care most about is like safety. Like if cars drive us and it's safer for us, people care about that, especially if they're be on their phone constantly. So if we can have, like, I have a Tesla and I use full self-driving, whatever it's supervised, like 90% of the time. So now 90% of the time I have the car with 12 cameras that just simply can see things I can't see, driving on our family's behalf.
Yeah.
And my wife and our kids are all like, oh, we feel so much better when the car is driving. I use a hoverboard or this One Wheel. It doesn't float. I don't fly, but it's safe. I have something touching the ground, and it gets the feeling of being on an electric dragon, but I still have the safety of being touching the ground and the number of times where I could have or should have crashed. I think when it comes to automation, people are less interested in the fantasy of what could be, and they're more interested in like, is this funner? Is this safer? Is this cheaper? Is this easier? Like humans really want these types of conveniences. And so a lot of the times we lose ourselves in this fantasy of what automation tech could be when that maybe sells movies, and we kind of lose the reality that what we really want is just our life to be elevated and enhanced and enlightened and evolved just 1%. Just 5%, just a little bit better makes us feel a lot better about where things are at. So that's my perspective. Ted, you want to jump in before we start coming to the end of our show?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you, and it's about figuring out how to solve the right problems. And I think, humans are so much into comfort, but a lot of times we have to fight that to make sure we get health over comfort. And I'm excited about technology, like what we've talked about, technology that can help us become healthier, that can help us train, that can connect us with reality, like the One Wheel. We get out, you ride the One Wheel, it's technology, but you ride it out. You're out with people, you're having an experience, you're not stuck behind a screen. And, and then even health apps that now, I mean, now you can have access to health, to things that can help you with your mental health. And it turns out that AI can actually work as a counselor in some ways. So the more that we can get away from the negative health app implications of the cell phone, of the screen, of social media, to more of the healthy ones and things that, you know, like social media has connected people, but in some ways it's also disconnected us because we now text instead of talking face to face, or even we phone instead of talking face to face. And these are causing all these problems. But the more that we can, that technology can empower us to truly connect as people, that's the future I want to see.
Can I say something real quick?
Please do.
Awesome. Okay. So about the thing with talking face to face and stuff. I just went to I live in Gilroy, and I went to like a football tournament in Salinas, and my friend is in Mexico right now. And I was driving home. It was like a 40-minute drive, and I was able to just use Siri, so I didn't have to like pull over or anything. I was just like, "Hey Siri, call Luke the Nuke," my friend. And I was able to just call him the whole way home, and we were talking. He's in Mexico, so we haven't been able to hang out in like 2-3 weeks, and we were able to just call, catch up, hang out, have a fun time while I was driving home, and that was super cool. And like we didn't have to. I didn't have to like go to Mexico or anything to just talk to him. I just got to talk to my friend driving home, and that was rad.
Well, there is the music. We're coming to the end now. Nigel, glad to have you back. You look so good. Thank you everyone for joining us at Beachside Tech Talk. Emerson, thanks for joining us, who's the chief evangelist at Alexa. Big deal to have the chief evangelist of Alexa join us. We'll be back again very soon. Emerson, we're still, thank you, Nathan. Emerson, we're still on. Good to see that you're still over at Alexa, my friend. If you're listening in, I sent you a text just seeing if we can maybe find a time that you can come and jump in, and maybe you and I can do a long form one-on-one for the Beachside Tech Talk. I'd love to hear, what's happening for you over at Amazon right now. Okay, Internet, we're going to go.
I thought you were going to say a long
show
form
coming in.
one-wheel ride.
Teddy,
because Emerson's going to come to Santa Cruz in person.
Goodbye, everybody. Yeah, Nigel.
Oh, we're on mute. You're not listening to me.
You. Come visit us. Goodbye, Internet. Be back again soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Double salute.